Okay, I've got to tighten my chair. All right, you are going to need 2 items today. Note-taking materials, physical or virtual. The choice is yours. However you learn best, that's what you need to use for today. You will need a second device, and that device will need to go to the turnarounddoctor.com's website. And then once you're there, go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership so that you can follow along with me. Note-taking materials, second device. The second device goes to the Turnaround Doctor website, and then you go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership page, and then you're going to scroll down to the innovative, nope, I apologize, the powerful section. Wait, what are we on? Yes, innovative. Develop, embrace diversity, number 2. I'm having a brain cramp this morning. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to go ahead and take 3 deep breaths on your own. Inhale and exhale, just to let the brain know we are here and we are ready to use you today. I am Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. I am the daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas. I am the granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II and the great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout, and today's topic, as I mentioned, is embrace diversity. How did we get here? We got here through neurogenesis, which is the creation of new neurons in your amazing brain. Those neurons then go on a path to create neuroplasticity, which is the creation of new neural pathways. You combine that with the 74 Principles of Real Leadership and the theory of personal accountability, and you get neuropability. And that is the brain's ability to wire itself to use the 74 Principles of Real Leadership to create unlimited neural pathways so that you can access your best day in and day out. Where does all this magic happen? Right here in the frontal lobe. We use the executive function of our brain, which is commonly referred to as the CEO of the brain. So without further ado, let's use that today. Embrace diversity. For those of you who are visiting for the first time or watching on the replay, if you would like to see me give an overview of the 74 Principles of Real Leadership, scroll down, go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership playlist, scroll down to the bottom, and then work your way up. I gave an overview, and now I'm reviewing each individual principle of real leadership to the point where I'm defining every word in the principle of real leadership. Today, we have arrived at embrace diversity, and it's under the innovation section on the website, as well as the innovation section in my book, Real Leaders Wear Pink. Feel free to grab you a copy off of Amazon, because knowing the principles and having them there readily available to you, that was the inception, the beginning, way back in 2009 when the book was published, and they are constantly ever evolving and changing, because embrace change is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Without further ado, what is the definition of embrace and diversity? So the definition of embrace is an act of accepting or supporting something willingly or enthusiastically. An act of accepting or supporting something willingly or enthusiastically. That means that you are willingly doing it. That means that you are excited and enthusiastic about doing it. No one is dragging you over there, say, you better do this. Come on over here. That's not when you embrace something. You actually accept it willingly, and then you support it willingly, and you do it enthusiastically. That is the definition of embrace. Now, I have an extended definition of diversity, and here it is. Diversity refers to the presence and inclusion of a wide range of differences among people, ideas, perspectives, and experiences. It often relates to aspects such as, one second, ladies and gentlemen, we have an unaccountable person that is looking for a dopamine boost this morning, and they will have to do it some other way, because that dog don't hunt over here. School is out, and so are the unaccountables. I will begin again, or repeat what I said initially. So diversity, it refers to the presence and inclusion of a wide range of differences among people, ideas, perspectives, and experiences. And it often relates to the following aspects: ethnicity, gender, age, religious preferences, abilities, disabilities, sexual orientation, socioeconomic background slash status, and cultural backgrounds and language. I'll say that again. It has the following aspects or relates to the following aspects: ethnicity, gender, age, religious preferences, abilities, disabilities, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status or background, cultural background, and language. Now, when I was researching this morning, it kept including race. And you will notice that I did not include it because race was invented. Race isn't real. It's something that was invented by racist people, and they want to include this into diversity, but it's not something real. It is based upon things that you have absolutely no control over, but this thing that is controlling parts of the world consistently on a daily basis. But it's not a part of being diverse because it's based upon complexion. So it's not, I mean, you can, in theory, bleach your skin or go out in the sun or go to a tanning thing, but it has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't change anything, but it does make a certain group feel superior and another group feel inferior. And they're both based upon superiority complex and inferiority complex, which were developed by the people who invented race. So it's something that's been invented, and it's not anything that has to do with diversity. So that's why it won't be mentioned past me just now saying that. It was invented, and it doesn't make, what difference does a difference make? It only makes a difference if you are part of the perceived superior race or if you are part of the inferior race. It doesn't change anything. It's not scientifically proven, and you can research it yourself. It's not backed by science. It was created by a group who wanted to feel superior. So they used the one thing that people don't have control over and said, nah, 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 nah. You don't have this, so I'm better than you. And it's been proven historically again and again that that shit is not true. Okay? All right, so I will not be mentioning that portion of it again because it isn't based in science. Okay, in a broader sense, diversity means recognizing, respecting, and valuing differences, whether in a workplace, a school, community, or society at large. I will say that again. In a broader sense, diversity means recognizing, respecting, and valuing differences, whether in a workplace, school, community, or society at large. And then finally, diversity emphasizes that these differences bring strength, creativity, and innovation when embraced and included. It emphasizes that these differences bring strength, creativity, and innovation when embraced and included. So, what questions do you have or comments about the definition of embrace diversity before I move into why people don't embrace diversity? And by what questions, I'm saying have a comment. Say something. Like they say at the airport. If you see something, say something. If you heard something, say something. No. Did I? I did it again. No, I didn't. Thank goodness. And remember, ... thinking emoji. I'm thinking to let me know that the chat has not been disabled on my part and that I do not need to go out and come back in again. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Is this thing on this morning? Mic check, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow, when all was done and justice stood, and people were behaving like they all too good, the little boy was misled by another little boy. And this is what he said. How did I hit that? What you staring at, Kevin? You're letting me know you're thinking. Thoughts on embrace diversity and the expanded definition of diversity. I said that yesterday. And while you're typing, I was thinking about how would I even, there are pictures, there's a video of me when I have my 10 favorite things shown on my desk. Because it seems like it's a lot going on, but I don't even have drawers. It's a glass. The gamers have this desk. It's an L-shaped glass desk. You can see through the bottom. with the little keyboard thing on it. It's old as hell. It's from 2009. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff on it that it needs to be cleaned off. I actually don't even need to keep these over here anymore. They need to go in my main file. Noah says, I've always embraced diversity. And Kevin says, it seems like the topic of diversity has become more popular in the last 5 to 10 years than ever before. I would say depends on where you are, because when I worked in corporate America way back in the day, starting in 2001, it was a thing. So we had BPA, Black Professional Association, and Women's Initiative Network, and it was supposed to come together and basically make us coffee with cream, so we could figure out how to make the everybody else, the at parity people, feel comfortable with us being in their environment. It was a bunch of bullshit, but it was there, and I participated until I didn't participate because I was no longer at the organization. And it's not that it's being talked about more. It's just because the internet has made it so we can see it more. So the level in which it's being talked about is the level at which it's being talked about. And it has been skewed by the good morning, Lola. It has been skewed by what it actually means. So my purpose in giving you the extended definition, and if you read my book, the same thing. It came from Perry, the Peacock in the Land of Penguins, and we had training. What difference does a difference make? And so we had all this extended training at Frito-Lay to embrace diversity. That's why it was there. And I gave you that extended definition because I wanted you to understand what it actually means. What it actually means. Because if you hear diversity, first thing you think is women and minorities. And that's not true. And as we'll go through this, we'll understand that's not what diversity is. And it literally said that it is your ethnicity, gender, age, religious preferences, abilities, disabilities, sexual orientation, socioeconomic background, cultural background, language, education, all of those things that make you diverse. You can have a household with two parents and their offspring, biological offspring, and they will be 4 different people in the same household. You have siblings raised by the same parents, same household, 4 different people. Everybody's different. My sister and I are nothing alike, raised by the same crazy lady and gave birth to by 2 drunks. Stepfather in the mix, and we could not be more opposite. If you saw us, I would never meet my sister anywhere because we don't have anything in common, but we share the same biological parents. So when you think about diversity, it has turned into this race, and race isn't real. So the first thing people think diversity, oh, you must be talking about race and racism. No, but that's what it's been connected to. And diversity is like, hold up, motherfuckers. Wait, I ain't. How did I get mixed up with this dude right here? Like, I don't know him. I don't know them, they, zer. Like, why the fuck are we connected? We not peanut butter and jelly. This ain't hamburger, cheeseburger, Kool-Aid with some sugar. This is not Hennessy, Jack and Coke. You know what I'm saying? What is this? How did I get connected with them? That's not what this is. That is the whole purpose of having this extended definition, so that people will understand that the unaccountables are the ones that made it a dirty word. Diversity, and diversity is like, bruh, what's up? Like, how did I get connected to this? We weren't even in the same chat. Why are y'all doing that? So basically, that's when you understand what the actual definition is. Because even for my video that I made for this morning, I said diversity. And I said, before you say something, shut up. Bring your happy ass on over here so you can understand what's going on. So you can stop making this a dirty word. It's a bunch of dirty words out there. But diversity ain't on that doggone list. And it is the unaccountable people at parity and who embrace racism that made it a negative word. So they wouldn't have to do, no. They be the main ones, protect my shit. That would make you diverse. So no, absolutely not. Anyway, that is the extended definition. And now I have a question for you today. Oh, hold up. That's not what I meant to do. Go ahead and make that a highlight. So why don't people embrace diversity? Why don't people embrace diversity? And if you haven't done so already, go and answer the poll question right here, right now. Question is to you all, to the group. Why don't people embrace diversity? And good morning, Lola, if I didn't say good morning to you. And remember, for the perimenopause lady, go ahead and type ... thinking emoji. I'm thinking, let me think about that. So I know that the chat is still here and you are here to wire your neural pathway. Hold up, Doc. Let me think about that. About 4 songs just came to my head behind that. I really do think in song lyrics. Our shirt should be here tomorrow. Kevin, don't like change and the feeling of being uncomfortable. Don't like change and the feeling of being uncomfortable. So conformity bias and comfort bias. I'm not going to change that. You ain't going to bring all your foreign shit over here to me. I bet you won't bring that city shit over here. Don't be bringing that country bunkin stuff over here to me. There they go. Damn millennials. Damn zillennials. Doggone Gen Zs. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Over there, that was good music back in the day. Nola said, people think their way of living is better. Okay, let's find out. Why don't people embrace diversity? People's inability to embrace diversity is often rooted in fear, misunderstanding, or systemic influences. Good morning. People's inability to embrace diversity is often rooted in fear, misunderstanding, or systemic influences such as race, which isn't even a real thing. Okay, number 1, fear of the unknown or unfamiliar. Fear of the unknown or unfamiliar. People often feel more comfortable with what is familiar. People often feel more comfortable with what is familiar. And that is what Kevin said, being uncomfortable. Don't want to embrace change. Not about to do that. We're going to keep it over here in my nice little comfort zone. And differences in culture, language, or beliefs can feel threatening when they challenge one's worldview of a way of life. Hold up. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell the summer break is here because this person is bored. They've decided that today would be a good day to come and disrupt Dr. Donna to see what will happen. So let's see how this plays out, ladies and gentlemen. If we could just, let's see what the unaccountable is going to do. Let's wait. And this is what Linda has said, that unaccountable people need a host. So here we are over here minding our own personally accountable business. And JMA is cool, has woke up this morning or this afternoon, this evening, wherever they are located in the world. And they have decided they need some dopamine, some manufactured dopamine. They need a bump. They need a hit. So they decided, I'm going to scroll through YouTube and I'm going to look at lives. And I'm going to disrupt one that appears to be doing something that is value added. That's where I'm going to sit. And that person looked and saw me with a brain t-shirt on and a brain background and decided, I know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say something that feels disruptive. Now the person is saying that they are 11 years old. So this person is bored today. And instead of doing something that would actually provide value and meaning for the frontal lobe, they have resorted to these imbecilic antics. And they believe that because I am responding, that they have met their objective. You said you're going to take the break and watch. It's Perry, the peacock in the land of penguin. Good morning and happy Saturday to you as well, Sabrina. We have an infiltrator in the live today that is bored in their life, and they've decided that me talking about embrace diversity should be interrupted with imbecilic adolescence antics this morning. And every now and then I let this play out to use it as an example. You could be minding your own business, doing your best, focused, and doing something great. And eliminate distractions is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And you will find that unaccountable people will use all kind of biases to determine that they know who you are, or they think that they know who you are based upon appearance, which is what. And I said I wasn't going to say anything else about racism, but that's what it's based upon. So this person has made an assessment of what they see, a quick snap assessment, but because they lack neurological depth, their neural pathways are atrophying. And so they have a very simplistic way of disrupting lives. And I'm using them as a lesson this morning to say when you hold yourself personally accountable and you're focused on becoming your best, what you don't do is wake up and take on asinine actions. You don't disrupt somebody who is in the middle of teaching people on their own life, but minding their own business. And then you don't bring religion into it to try to get a response. I need some dopamine. So I'm going to come and do a fight, flight, freeze, or appease, and I'm going to attempt to hijack your amygdala. You have failed miserably, 100%. But I do thank you for being a asinine idiot, because what it has done is it has provided a real world example of what to do when unaccountable people need attempt to host on to something because of their meaningless, unfulfilled, unrewarding, regular existence. That's what it is. I was going to curse and decided not to. So that's what happens. It happens day to day. It happens in your life. It happens online all day long. So instead of holding yourself personally accountable to get to your best, you decide that you're going to choose to be inferior. And so then you decide that you're going to come and mess with somebody. And then to no avail. You picked the wrong live this morning. You actually did. Notice we don't hear from this person anymore. They might still be sitting here. I don't know. They're getting ready to get removed. But that's what unaccountable people do. You're minding your business, and your peace and all that you have, your growth in life, is making them feel bad. And as a result of that, they want to come and fuck your shit up. That's what they want to do. And that's why you have to hold them accountable. Now, I could have, there was already one person on here that I removed. I removed several people yesterday. But every now and then, I'm going to let you see an example so that when it happens to you, you are going about your day, and here they come with their negativity bias and their antics. And you need to know how that feels. And then you need to be a thermostat, not a thermometer, so that you can control the temperature. This is my live. This is me presenting personal accountability to the world. And at no point will an unaccountable fool come and disrupt that under any circumstances. So this person misread the room completely, did not understand who was on the other side of their device that they were using, but now they know. And now they know that they had a FAF moment, and I didn't use any profanity. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't change my tone or anything else. They got educated in a way that they have not been educated before. Now, will this stop their behavior? Absolutely not, because that negativity bias neural pathway is hardwired into their brain. And as a result of that, they will continue to be negative until they are no longer here, unless they decide to do something else. And the alternative to that is to learn how to actually use your brain and as it was designed to function, so that you can have a complete whole existence and you don't wake up bored on a Saturday morning looking for a host and a little dopamine boost, because I'm not your pusher woman, and I will not give you manufactured dopamine ever in your life. So you didn't get your fix this morning. And even though you'll run back to Loserville to your little loser crew retinue and tell them that you did, just have them watch this from 19 minutes to 25 minutes, and they will tell you, as the young folks say, you got cooked. Okay, now where was I? Number 2 is stereotypes. So Kevin, if you are watching the other video, go ahead and come back, because now I'm talking about stereotypes. And we were talking about embrace diversity, Sabrina. Number 2, stereotypes and prejudice. And we're under the topic of why don't people embrace diversity. Number 2 is stereotypes and prejudice. Negative assumptions or biases about certain groups, often learned from media, family, or people in society, can lead to distrust or discomfort with people who are different. Negative assumptions or biases about certain groups, often learned from media, family, or people in society, can lead to distrust or discomfort with people who are different. who are different. You're different than me. I don't like you, so I'm gonna make fun of you. I'm gonna bully you. I'm gonna berate you. I'm gonna satirize your name. I'm gonna destroy you. That's the auntie from TikTok. Do everything I can because, as Kevin mentioned earlier, you make me uncomfortable. I don't want to do that because I am neurologically inept to actually have a logical response to the differences that we have. You don't ask questions, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. You're not embracing diversity. You're different than me, saber-toothed tiger. You different. Our complexions are different. Our genders are different. Our religious beliefs are different. So you must be a saber-toothed tiger, and I have to defend myself against your differences. When there are no more saber-toothed tigers. I don't even know if somebody even has a replica or actual saber-toothed tiger somewhere in some museum. Maybe there is. I don't know. Perhaps I should research that. But these stereotypes and prejudice are there in theory to protect you, because it's like, oh, don't go around that tree because you know there's a saber-toothed tiger over there. Did you see that Tyrannosaurus Rex? But it's like, oh no, there's an African-American woman over there teaching. Don't go over there. No, there's somebody smiling over there. No, we got to stop that threat over there and let's create threats. Because of the hardwiring survivalness of the negativity bias, you're different. Back in the day, the saber-toothed tiger didn't look like us. You're different, you're a threat. You're different, you're a threat. You're different, you are a threat. And I must protect myself and warn people about this different thing over here that's a threat to me. Number 3, a lack of exposure or education. A lack of exposure or education. When individuals grow up in homogeneous environments, they may not learn how to interact respectfully with diverse people. I grew up in an African American city with an African American fire chief, police chief, and mayor. And people in Detroit at that time thought the world was African American. And I went to basic training and I said, oh, whoa, wait a minute. First time on an airplane, I said, yeah, hey, y'all, this ain't this ain't it. And all of my classmates said, I'm going to an HBCU and I'm going to raise my hands. And the red, the black, and the green, found out real quick. It ain't the red, the black, and the green. It's not. And that doesn't bode well in the rest of the world. So you need to embrace diversity. Have I had green bean casserole? Absolutely. Mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie with dry turkey for Thanksgiving. I sure did, because that is how I chose. I had a twice baked potato before, had never had it before, from my best friend at the time, Justin Towle. We were so cool. On Christmas, we went and got matching Smith & Wesson 40 caliber pistols. We was that cool. We went and picked out matching guns. Now that's the friendship. That's the family. Yeah. Let's go get matching weapons for Christmas. It's a good idea. Yes, we want to do that. So we got my first weapon was with a European American, my homie from OA, career captain's course. But people don't do that. When individuals grow up, wait a minute. No, I'm not about to eat that. Absolutely not. I have had doggone pepper steak and rice with venison, and I didn't even know it. And I was like, why does it taste so different? I was like, this is pretty good. What kind of beef is this? It's not. It's deer meat. What? Oh, well, I've already eaten it. Thank you for the experience. I have some of my best recipes from Sergeant Sheila Johnson from West Virginia, the sticks of West Virginia. My deviled eggs and my banana pudding and dirt cake came from her and Meemaw. So yes, embrace diversity. I make some great doggone baked beans. Yes, I do. I got some recipes from some people from Louisiana. Got to embrace it. Definitely. They had my first crawfish etouffee from Sergeant Narcisse's wife. I even had a cucumber sandwich from Aunt Connie, my ex-husband's aunt. Had never had it, from her garden. I'm with some mayo on some white bread. Never had it before. Got to embrace it. But city girls ain't supposed to do stuff like that. And then without intentional education or experience, they may form narrow perspectives. And it makes them comfortable. I'm going to sit here with my 313 zip area code and I'm staying in Detroit, ride or die. D is all in me. Okay. But it just shows that you are a coward. It shows that you are a coward because you don't want to even go on the other side of 8 Mile. I'm going to stay on the east side, west side. This is the best side. No, it's not. And you don't get to have this diversified experience because of your lack of exposure and education. Number 4, a perceived threat to identity or status. A perceived threat to identity or status. So some may feel that diversity challenges their own cultural identity or that it threatens their social and economic standing, especially when diversity initiatives are seen as taking away opportunities. You ain't about to take my shit. No, this mine. We ain't giving you nothing. Absolutely not. What you mean you deserve this too? No, that's my stuff. So I'm not about to embrace that because that means that you about to take mine. But watch this. Here's how I see this. If everybody moved and changed their career and what they were doing every 5 to 10 years, you wouldn't have people in positions anywhere in the family or anywhere because they would have moved on. So it's not a matter of we taking your spot. Motherfucker, you've been in this spot for 30 years. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Let somebody else have a turn. You're not even doing good at it no more. Your atrophied ass brain making the same decisions today that you was making in 1972. Grow forward. Grow continually. And when you set a goal, master it, and move on, then there is space for the next person and the next person and the next person. When you got people sitting somewhere 20, 30 years and something, LeBron James need to take his old ass and sit down and be humble. You too damn old to still be bouncing that ball. Move out the way for the young people. You are old enough to be people's father wait, you are in the league. Move. Go do something else. But no, you're going to take my spot. You've been in that spot for a minute. Move. Leave. If you are 40 something years old and you still doing the same shit you was doing when you was in your 20s, you in their spot. You in there. These youngins in here trying to take over. They're not. It's their turn. It's their turn. Your turn is over. You're supposed to be doing something else now that you have your complete frontal lobe. You got your working memory in your frontal lobe. Go work something else out. Go do something extraordinary. Go work on your personal legend. But this right here ain't it. In any position whatsoever, move out the way. You got that old cantankerous first grade teacher that just won't retire. Leave. Your great-great-grands is in first grade now. Move. It's time to go. Move on. But people don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Number 5. Social conditioning and systemic inequality. Social conditioning and systemic inequality. Societies may be structured in ways that privilege one group over others. Societies may be structured in ways that privilege one group over others. These systems can reinforce resistance to change and discourage inclusive behavior. These systems can reinforce resistance to change and discourage inclusive behavior. Watch this. Sports. I wanted to play football my senior year, and the coach said, no, girls don't play football. I was like, come on, let me play, coach. Put me in. He said, no. I kept pestering. Finally, he said, y'all can't play, but I'm going to do a week of teaching y'all all about football. So in 1990, that was a win because he was an old school Newport smoking jogging suit. He looked like the African-American version of the coach from the basketball coach from White Shadow. He had a scraggly beard there. He's standing there. No, we ain't doing that. But a win's a win. And now you have women playing professional football. So it's like, no, y'all can't come in. I mean, the WNBA, I remember when it started. My mother and my aunt had season tickets to go see the Detroit Shock. So these things are, no, y'all trying to take our stuff. No, we just want to play too. I just wanted to be mechanized infantry. And the Army said, no, the best we got for you is air defense artillery or military police. That's it. You can secure the ground for when the infantry comes down. Now women can go to combat, but no, not then. Absolutely not. They thought something was going, well, what if you're on your period and you're in combat? Y'all put me in the field for 30 days, run the numbers on that shit. What that got to do with making sure that the country is safe? Defending the nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We all take the same oath, but then one group get to go that way and the other group got to go that way, but we all take the same oath. Defending all enemies against foreign and domestics unless I'm on my period. That wasn't part of the oath. It wasn't, but that's what I was told. Well, no, because you got women couldn't play football because they got fallopian tubes. Y'all got nuts. What that got to do with your stuff gonna get injured before my stuff get injured? But no, we can't do that. Absolutely not. So now you can't, the conditioning says you can't do that. No, absolutely. Women can't handle money. They can't have a job because they don't manage money. Most households, the women are managing the doggone finances. You can't do multiple things at the same time. Okay. Got it. Roger that. So you can run a whole household, have kids, go back to work in 6 weeks and everything else, but you can't somehow be the CEO of a company. No. Conditioning says that. And for men, they can't be nurses. Why not? Why can't they? Why can't they? My best nail techs were men. Best I didn't have to do all that chit chat and everything. They came in, got it done. You want to square around? Yep, bam, bada boom. I'm out. I don't have to hear none of that. I don't like talking. Just do my nails and let me get out of here. But so it goes both ways. And then number six, and finally number six, groupthink and conformity. In some groups or cultures, there's pressure to conform to a specific identity or belief system. In some groups or cultures, there's pressure to conform to a specific identity or belief system. Embracing diversity might be seen as disloyal or disruptive. I came home and said I'm gonna be an officer, and the enlisted people in my family said, "An officer? We are not officers. Oh, so you don't want to work for your money. You want to sit on your ass, and you just want." No, I actually want to be in charge. I want to call the shots. That's why I'm going to be an officer. That's why I'm going to be an officer. Okay, give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, Prakier. Let's time out, ladies and gentlemen. Really, is that what I'm saying? If you could elaborate on that, I'm in light. I'm gonna embrace diversity right now with your comment. What are you using? And just use facts and your personal experience. Okay, so use facts and your personal experience if you are still here to, because we're gonna have a healthy debate right now. So use facts and your personal experience, because I'm interested to see why you have made this declaration. It's actually conformity bias and confirmation bias. And go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say this morning. Let's have a healthy, respectful exchange this morning. And you do, for the group, have to tell us what your ethnicity and gender is so we can understand, because we can't see you and your profile photo is of something blue. So first start with that. Gender and ethnicity. So we know who we're talking to. Because you can see my gender and my ethnicity. I'm African American, female. So let's see what yours is so we can level this debate. I mean, I already know based upon what you said, but let's let the group know. And while Praker, I think that's what that is, you can phonetically pronounce it for me, so I'll ensure that I'm saying your username correctly. So overcoming these barriers requires open dialogue, which I'm attempting to have with Praker, education, empathy, intentional efforts to build inclusive environments where all people feel seen, valued, and respected. While we're rating on their response, I will review them again. So why don't people embrace diversity? Number one, fear of the unknown or unfamiliar. Number two, stereotypes and prejudice. Number three, lack of exposure or education. Number four, perceived threat to identity or status. Let me finish this and I'll come with your answer. I'll look at your answer. Social conditioning and systemic inequality. And number six, groupthink and conformity. Okay, I don't believe my gender and ethnicity are necessary. Yes, they are. And I am not judging your perspective or your gender and ethnicity. I'm basing it off of your perceptions and perspectives. You are not, because you are taking a snap judgment of what you believe to be taking place today. And so you actually are. You're using what's called somatic markers, and you're taking what you think I'm saying and you're putting it together with pre-existing beliefs that you currently have. And now you're telling me what you believe that I'm saying, but you actually don't know what's taking place. You don't know why I'm talking about diversity. You don't know that I'm getting ready to say how to embrace diversity. You don't know why I've chosen to talk about embracing diversity this morning. So what you have done is you believe that because you see an African American woman here, that I am speaking rhetoric and saying that this is an unfair and unjust society based upon people being at parity or not at parity. So your gender and your ethnicity matters, because we need to understand we are actually talking about diversity. And if you think about your background, all of your beliefs that have led you to this moment today are relevant to the situation, because we will understand why you are saying what you are saying. So you can, if we were in public, then we would be able to see your ethnicity and your gender, and then we could actually have the same dialogue. We would actually understand your context of you walking around in the body that you've been walking around in for however long you are, all of the decisions that you have made that have led you to this moment. We actually do need context in order to have that conversation. So to hide behind a not government name with a photo that is not representation of you doesn't have this as an equal conversation right now. So what it appears for you is that you are at an advantage, but I'm saying let's level the conversation field so that we can understand your perspective, because you have a perspective based upon your ethnicity, gender, socioeconomic status, educational background, religious preferences, and all of those, because all of those are actually diversity. So I'd like to know who I'm talking to you to, because you can see who you're talking to. And if you'd like to know who you're talking to, feel free to go to LinkedIn. My complete government name is Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. So if you want to know all of, well, about 80% of what makes me me, go there. You can go, I have 11,300, almost 400 YouTube videos. Feel free to peruse, Google me, ask me questions and everything else. And I have no issue with giving my background to you, but we don't know your government name, your gender, or your ethnicity. So we can't have this conversation, because your first statement was that critical race theory, feminist BS. You started this with that sentence. That critical race theory, feminist BS. And it actually isn't. It actually isn't. I'm probably the most unbiased, balanced person that you will ever meet, because I actually do embrace diversity. And the fact that you said this is that critical race theory, feminist BS, shows that you actually don't embrace diversity. And I'd like to understand why. I'm letting you take up some of my live time for a lesson that I already had planned this morning. So I'm attempting to embrace diversity with you and understand your perspective and why you believe that critical race theory and feminist BS, even though I didn't bring any of that up. I didn't bring feminism up. I don't talk about critical race theory. I don't actually follow it, but apparently you do. So what's your perspective? And if you are still typing and still here, ... enlighten the group. Let's have a healthy dialogue this morning. Otherwise, if you're choosing not to participate, let me know so I can continue on with the actual lesson that I had today for my actual students who actually follow the theory of personal accountability, as well as the 74 principles of real leadership. So let us know, which one would you like to do? Would you like to proceed? Okay. So the problem with that sentence is that judgment. So if you take the word judgment out and just sit back, I would ask that you just go right now. You can leave and then you can go and look at my LinkedIn and then come back. And apologize when you are wrong is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So I accept your apology. And I'm open to finding out new information all the time. Because without education, we are just biased people. And we can't seek first to understand and then be understood is a philosophy that I learned at Frito-Lay that I use quite frequently. So I'm understanding your perspective, even though you kind of came here not being the most respectful person. I'm still honoring the 74 principles of real leadership, which is to treat people with dignity and respect. Okay, so yeah, perhaps you should take out a notebook. You might even want to go to my website, theturnarounddoctor.com. If you have a second device available, go to the 74 principles of real leadership. And we are in the we're in the innovative section of that. And I'm talking about one of the 74 principles of real leadership, which is to embrace diversity. I teach adults how to hold themselves personally accountable on a daily basis. And I teach Neuropability, which is the combination of Neurogenesis, Neuroplasticity, and the 74 principles of real leadership and the theory of personal accountability, so that you can wire your brain to unlimited neural pathways so that you can access your best day in and day out. And today's lecture is on embrace diversity, as it is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Okay, so how to embrace diversity. Embrace diversity means actively valuing and respecting differences among people. Embracing diversity means actively valuing and respecting differences among people. And whether they relate to culture, gender, age, religious preferences, abilities, disabilities, or other characteristics. You're just valuing and respecting the differences among people. Steps to embrace diversity. Number one, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Learn about different cultures, backgrounds, and perspectives. Challenge stereotypes and confront personal biases. And stay curious and open to unlearning and relearning. Educate yourself. Learn about different cultures, backgrounds, and perspectives. Challenge stereotypes and confront personal biases, and stay curious and open to unlearning and relearning. Because of my diversified background, because I grew up in an urban city, because I spent 5.5 years in the military and stationed in 4 different duty stations, one in another country, because I spent almost 10 years at Frito-Lay and lived in 3 different states. And because of that, the people in those environments, because I had 120 truck drivers, because I had 30 soldiers and 10 of them were Kurtusas, Korean augmentees to the United States Army. Because of that, I have been exposed to a myriad of backgrounds. My daughter's business, we have been exposed to all different types of cultures because of that. And we have a more enlightened and well-rounded existence because of educating yourself. One of the 74 principles of real leadership is, if you don't know, ask. If you don't know, ask. And I ask a lot of questions all the time because I want to know. When we walk in the house and we see, for my daughter's business, and we see shoes at the door, the first question we ask is, do we need to put on booties? Yes. Not down here upstairs. If we find out that they have pets, I have a vacuum, a roller, and a dustpan and broom. And I ask them before I start vacuuming up drywall, is this vacuum going to impact your pets? No, it's not. Okay, cool. If it is, got it. I'm going to go ahead and sweep this up. We've had people on oxygen. We've had people in stage 4 cancer. We've had people with infants that were just born and were tiptoeing around the house, because that's embrace diversity too. That's embrace diversity. People in all types of industries, because this is Las Vegas, celebrities, people in the sports industries, everything. We've been in the people who live in lower income levels all the way to multi-mansions, and we treat everybody with dignity and respect, because that's education. That's valuing everybody as human beings. Number 2, practice inclusive communication. Listen actively without judgment. Number 2, again, I said that fast. Practice inclusive communication. And that's what I'm doing with Praker. I'm practicing inclusive communication. I'd like to understand your perspective. So listen actively without judgment. And that's why I said for you to just simply take judgment out and replace it with a different word. Without judgment. Listen without judgment. Number 2, avoid assumptions about others based upon their appearance and their background. Avoid assumptions about others based on appearance and background. It appeared that I was talking about critical race theory and some feminist bullshit. That's what the initial somatic marker said. A plus B equals C. She talking about critical race theory and feminism. And I'm not. And then use inclusive language that respects all identities. Use inclusive language. I say spouse, I say parents, I say significant other. It includes all identities. That's just being human. So practice inclusive communication. Number 3, build diverse relationships. Build diverse relationships. I am from an African American urban city, and for a while, all I had was African American urban friends. And then I went to the Army when I in my summer of junior year to senior year, and then I had connections with different people. When I went to college, especially in college in the Army, sometimes I was the only African American in any particular situation. So I have gone on speed dating events like, hey, we're going speed date. Okay, cool. I'll come. We're getting ready to go to one of these Texas Roadhouse bars. I then rode the mechanical bull. I have literally won. And I don't know if I've told this story in a very long time. When I was in the Army, we used to have to do officer professional development. So each month, one of the staff officers had to set up professional development. So we had to go to Andersonville, Georgia, where it's one of the largest cemetery plots for American soldiers. It's like 10,000 soldiers buried shoulder to shoulder. And so it was a 2-day trip. And the hotel we were staying in, because it's Andersonville, Georgia, was a small hotel, and they actually had a bar off to the hotel. Don't drink. but they had a karaoke contest, and the fan favorite was there that week. And I think it was a Wednesday. And so I literally won the doggone contest for what is it? Karaoke. And I sang "I'm All Shook Up" by Elvis. I won $50. And let me tell you that the fan favorite, she was mad at me, but I was busting my soul. What is wrong with me? I'm itching like a mango on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting wild as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all sugar bug. So I won my $50. I was happy about that. But build diverse relationship. Expand your social or professional circle to include people from different backgrounds. Everywhere. Okay? The more diverse your circle is, the more well-rounded and diverse your life is going to be. Engage in conversation that exposes you to different perspectives. That's why if you look at my social media following, I have people from 18 to 75 following me across the world, because it is different perspectives and different backgrounds. And finally, support and uplift underrepresented voices. And I have always done that. My squad in high school, I had freshmen, and I say Collins was 5'11". Amy Palmer, who was a female, was 4'11", and she was 5'11". It was the first time in the history of the school where there were freshmen, sophomores, seniors, and juniors all on the same team competing in drill competition. And the reason why people didn't pick freshmen is because the drill competition was the first 6 or 8 weeks of school. And freshmen don't know how to drill and do drill and ceremony. We used the rifles, those 22s back then. They were like, how you going to get somebody who just got here? Don't worry about that. I got this. And we won. We beat 20 other high schools, which is something that had never been accomplished in the school before. So build diverse relationships. Number 4, encourage inclusive environments. Encourage inclusive environments. Over here, all are welcome. The caveat is hold yourself personally accountable, and we don't do immoral or illegal stuff over here, thanks to me being an MP. So I'm not going to tolerate that. But all you got to do is be willing to hold yourself personally accountable. Come on in. Learn how to do it. Rewire the neural pathways to your brain. Okay, thank you. To your brain. Okay, that's what we over here doing. And thank you for being honest and changing your perception. That initial knee jerk, this is what she's talking about. And now that's not what I was talking about. Okay, so encourage inclusive environments. Advocate for fair policies and practices in your workplace, school, or community. That's what I was doing in high school. I was a senior. I had an ROTC scholarship. I was in the Army Reserves, and I was in track. I didn't need to play football, but the opportunity needed to be made available for the people coming behind me. I created that squad by itself so that the opportunity for it to exist separate of platoon was there. Now, ensure representation in decision-making and leadership roles. I have always been in the room. Sometimes I have been only female, the only African-American, the only minority, and everything else. And I'm saying, what about this? What about this? So that it can be well-rounded. We had our family reunion here in 2018, and we had, it was right the last one before COVID. And we had people coming that had lap babies all the way to oldest person at that time that was living was 78. And we had some sinners and some saints. And so set up the website, and we had all the things for the sinners to do, all the things for the saints to do. And we considered everybody. From the time I said, okay, they're going to get off this plane. Some of them have saved. This is going to be their family vacation. Some of them have never been to Las Vegas. How can we make this the most memorable experience for everybody? And it was the first time ever that everybody in all age groups had a good time at the family reunion. By far the best. And my daughter and I were exhausted, but it was the best family reunion ever because we took into consideration everybody, to include family bingo. So family bingo was the night of the formal dinner. And in order for you to get bingo, you were going to have to interact with somebody. You was going to have to go find somebody with a Snapchat account. You was going to have to find somebody that played field hockey in high school. So what it did was the young people, the middle-aged people, and the older people all had to come together in order to get bingo. And then we had prizes for everybody. We got a bunch of stuff off of Amazon Prime Day, and they were happy. They walked into the plate of dinner. Everybody had a gift bag on their chair like they do at the Grammys. We had a family member who did the lineage so they could walk in another room and see their lineage. The family formal dinner was dressed up in the year of the decade that you were born. So we had people with stuff on from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, 70s, the 80s. It was just an amazing experience. And it caused everybody to come together and just be family without all this other nonsense that happens when you have family reunions. And then celebrate diverse traditions, holidays, and contributions. So everybody can come in and understand. Culturally, we have had people from all different backgrounds offer us food at appointments. We've sat down and had dinner with them. And it's just great because you get this new experience. When you live a diverse life, it's a more well-rounded existence. And then number 5 is you confront discrimination. Speak out against racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination. Support those affected by injustices and promote equality and fairness in all settings. That is what I am saying. COVID taught us that we were all equal. Everybody had to go home. Everybody. Elected officials, royals, celebrities, wealthy people, people in middle class, people in lower economic statuses, the teachers, everybody had to figure it out. Everybody had to figure it out because no one was safe. Anybody could have caught it. We all had to go home. It didn't say, well, you know what? You're African-American woman, you're 47, your ass is cooked. But if you were not, you wouldn't be cooked. So we are all, if you cut us all, we're going to bleed. If you cut us all right here, cut us in the right spot, it's over. If all of our brains don't have oxygen for 5 to 10 minutes, we are going to be considered brain dead. Now, some of us might be able to come back, but all of us are going to have some neurological problems. No one is exempt from a stroke. No one is exempt from a heart attack. No one is exempt from cancer. Steve Jobs, rest in peace, was on 2 different liver transplant lists, and he died from liver cancer. And Allen, what's his name from doggone Apple? Steve Ballmer, Paul Allen, billionaire, gone, cancer, prostate cancer. Prostate cancer don't care. Breast cancer don't care. These things, that's what makes us human. So when something is not being done correctly, and when someone is experiencing discrimination, ageism, sexism, colorism, or anything else, people always talk about overweight people, but don't nobody have a problem calling me skinny ass. That's just as wrong. If you're not going to body shame, when you think of body shaming, nobody thinks of skinny people. Everybody thinks of overweight people. Your skinny ass, what you worried about? Your skinny ass, you can fit through a Cheerio. Is it discrimination or not? I have the genetics from my grandfather. So I have to drink Ensure or my ass will lose weight. But everybody, that's a good problem to have. No, it's not. Sometimes I just got to eat. I don't even feel like chewing and I have to chew. But I'm supposed to be okay because I'm thin. So fuck you. No, if we body shaming, we body shaming. That's all there is to it. So discrimination is discrimination, and it needs to be eradicated because it was invented by people with superiority complex, and it doesn't bode well for anybody. And at some point, somebody is going to be on the receiving end of somebody's discrimination, whether it's age, gender, whatever it is. Religious preferences is stupid. And again, it goes back to the negativity bias of being hardwired for negativity, and your religion is different than mine, so yours is a threat. In fact, wars have been fought because of religious differences, and that's absurd. People have lost their lives based upon something that they choose to worship as a higher power, and it's insane. If it's not impacting on your civil liberties, why do you care? Because you were programmed to be discriminatory for safety reasons. But none of us are saber-toothed tigers anymore, but then all of us are saber-toothed tigers. We're all recovering from somebody's discrimination, and that's insane. Family members, the little one is always getting beat up in the family, or the little one is telling on everybody, getting discriminated. 3 boys and 1 girl. Girls get everything. No, the boys get everything. It's stupid. That's why it needs to be eradicated. And number 6, stay humble and reflective. Accept that you will make mistakes and commit to learning from them. I have not always been embracing diversity. I've not always said the right things. But what I have done is when I found out that I was wrong, I've apologized, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. I have apologized for being wrong. Invite feedback and be open to growth. And then reflect regularly on how your actions support or hinder inclusion. What am I doing? Am I contributing to the solution, or am I contributing to causing more problems? So in summary, I have to say this. Prior to now, there was no universal philosophy that could unite people globally. Now there is, and it's personal accountability. It's the theory of personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership. And for those of you with a second device, later today, just look at the 74 principles of real leadership, and you will see that they are just human principles. And when all of us wire our brain to neuropability, we are going to be better as a human society. We are. We are. Until then, until you leave this hijacked amygdala in your temporal lobe and the limbic system and come on up here and use the brain as it was designed to do, we are not going to be at our best. We are not. There are 6.8 billion adults in the world being personally unaccountable, and you don't have to stay that way. It is the wiring of your mind. Prune that negativity bias neural pathway and start to wire your brain to the 74 principles of real leadership so that you can just have a better existence where you are and whatever it is that you're choosing to do so that you can have a better existence. Now, what questions do you have? Do I need to review any of the how to embrace diversities before we get out of here with our final 2 questions for the day? And I'll go over them just so you have them down. But if you need the details under it, let me know. So how to embrace diversity. Educate yourself is number 1. Number 2 is practice inclusive communication. Number 3 is build diverse relationships. Number 4 is encourage inclusive environments. Number 5 is to confront discrimination. And number 6 is to stay humble and reflective. And in summary, the 74 principles of real leadership and the theory of personal accountability is how we become better. And remember, if you're still there, people have dropped off. I don't know if the number is correct or not, but for those of you who are still here, ... to let me know that you're still here, that YouTube hasn't disabled the chat, and then I got to come back and finish with 5 minutes left. If you are thinking and not driving, ... Let me think about that, Dot. Where is my... There we go. Hot flash. And it's just because the sun is up. Saying hello. We have to get me a new fan because this one is loud and old. And I'm going to need one for this summer. Summer is coming instead of winter. And Nova, I saw your ellipse. Coffee needs to be heated up in there. This was another great live today. Thank you for that, Mr. Hook. Another one. And as you say whatever it is that you need to say, the final 2 questions for today are, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? Hopefully my new t-shirt, the sleeves will be even. Coming from Walmart, so we'll see. And while they're all typing, it's hard to find. It's hard out here for a brain t-shirt where I promise y'all, it's hard out here for me. Yeah. I mean, I am scouring the internet for brain t-shirts that work. And I do have a cool one that I'm getting made. I got to find a person that'll do it correctly. but it's going to be the equivalent to E equals MC squared. But I'm just gonna reveal it, and it will be backwards on the live, but you'll get the point. Because I adjusted, excuse me, the theory of personal accountability. I'm at the big reveal. Unboxing. No. But the t-shirt is coming. Today learned somatic markers. Okay. There we go. Nola. I learned about myself. I have never had an issue embracing diversity. And I do thank you for saying that, Nola, because I forgot I had a poll question. I had 18 people vote in the poll question. And 55% said yes, 44% said no. And I figured that's what the numbers would be, regardless of how many people voted. Somewhere around there. And then there you go, Nola. I learned that there are a lot of reasons to not embrace diversity. None good. I think you meant none good. And then Kevin, about yourself. And we have dropped off because people now have to answer questions about themselves. And while you all are typing that up, and if what's the name? If you're still here, Parker, we had three actual people here join us that are new to the live today that decided to make their presence known. The first person was just removed. The second person decided that they were going to attempt to disrupt the live. To no avail, they were removed. And then the third person, I wanted to hear their perspective. And they had a different perspective, and then they changed their perspective. So you had, as Kevin said, it was a great live today of 3 different types of interactions that normally aren't occurring. We're just here, we get our information, and we leave. And I'm doing those things for you to understand what it looks like when you're implementing the principle of real leadership. So the first person hold yourself and others personally accountable is the top principle of real leadership. That person was removed immediately. The second person was used as an example that when unaccountable people disrupt your peace and what you're doing because they need a host, you need to hold them accountable because the first person, I just removed them. The second person got dragged red and then removed because sometimes unaccountable people will just stay there and linger and host and keep trying to turn you into a thermometer instead of a thermostat. So be a thermostat and not a thermometer is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, which is why I remain calm the entire time, so that you could then see that when something happens to you in your own community where this unaccountable person is attempting to hijack your amygdala, you stay calm, you stay in the frontal lobe, you do not allow cortisol to enter into your brain so that you can be clear and level-headed and make the best possible factually based objective decisions. Be objective is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And then with the last person, what appeared to be disrespectful initially, let's just see how this plays out because I have to walk the walk. So I do not get to sit in front of you and say, embrace diversity, embrace diversity, embrace diversity. And then someone comes with their perspective of what they see. And I say, fuck you, motherfucker. And then I go ahead and delete them from the chat because they have a difference of opinion with regards to diversity. No, let's have this healthy dialogue so we can understand each other's perspective. And we may both walk away with the same level of agreement or disagreement, but now we have heard from another person's perspective, and that's diversity as well. Nola likes watching Catch, Clean, and Cooks, and she loves it. Not my thing. So I'm not going to sit and watch that with her. Doesn't mean that I don't value and respect her. It just means that that's not my preference. She's not going to sit and watch neuroscientist videos with me. Not going to happen. She's not going to sit there for 30 minutes and listen to none of that whatsoever. She is going to allow me to have that experience and say, okay, cool. Give me the Cliff Notes versions of that, or the Spark Notes now. The point is that you are seeing in real time what it means to interact with people who are not all the way personally accountable, who may never become personally accountable, or who are now just sparked a little interest for them to go, maybe. Got a little flutter, little nuance, little new information that won't necessarily convert people over, and because it's a personal choice that you have to make day in and day out. I'm just walking the walk and letting you see how it's done so that when these moments occur in your day-to-day life, you can actually understand, oh, I remember how to handle this. This person is a thermometer and they want me to be a thermometer too, but I'm a thermostat. I will not let my amygdala be hijacked because they are not a saber-toothed tiger. So I'm going to stay in my frontal lobe and I'm going to handle this situation because I was over here minding my own business and you came over here because you needed a manufactured dopamine boost and I'm unwilling to be your pusher man. Not going to happen. You're responsible for producing your own natural dopamine. So go back over there and figure it out. Nola, I said yes to embrace diversity because you can learn a lot from people different than you. Kevin, myself, I learned that although I do embrace diversity, I never thought about what goes into it. It's mental and takes physical energy and action. That is correct. And I thank you for your time this morning. I know I went over. And it was because of the two other interactions that took place, but I am grateful for that. Higher power, God, the universe sends you lessons, whether you want them at that time or not. They just take place, and you just have to lean with it, rock with it, roll with it, and keep it pushing. That's that. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off, embrace diversity, and have a sensational Saturday. Take care.